So you have heard people speaking in tongues referred to as light language, and now you are wondering what it's all about. In today's video, I want to take the time to explain what light language is, what it isn't, especially in terms of frequencies and how it affects each other's vessel. But more importantly, please understand that this is my relationship with light language, how I use it in my own space and practice. So if you have heard something different from someone else, it doesn't mean that they're wrong. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong either. It's just, again, my own personal relationship with light language and how I personally use it on myself. My name is Isabelle, and welcome to the download. So light language, in its essence, it's an exchange of frequency, of energy, more as a frequency, like think of a radio wave. So essentially, it's like a human body acting as a tuning fork to emit a frequency that is going to have an effect on the vessel in its vicinity. Now, what are these frequencies? What are the dynamics first? Let's just observe the dynamics. First thing first, I want to make sure for you to understand, it's very important for me making this video, is by emitting light language and doing light language, I am not technically doing anything to your vessel. We are all our own individual. We all have our own inner wisdom. I'm not technically going into your energetic field and doing things myself. Think of more light language as a radio that puts out a song, right? So if we're listening to Metallica and it's very intense and we're like, whoa, we feel like all that energy and we want to bounce off the wall, it's going to be a different effect on our vessel than listening to classical music. And I'm not saying classical music is better than Metallica. I'm just bringing to your awareness that different sound, different frequencies do have an effect on our physical vessel. So essentially, during a light language transmission, you are exposing yourself to a sound that permeates your vessel and it has an effect. And you get to decide how much of an effect you want to have. Maybe you want to turn the volume down and say, oh, or maybe you don't resonate with these frequencies and you don't want to absorb it. You don't want it to engage with you or have any effect on you. You're always in control. We are always in control of what goes on in our internal world. And this is important for me, for you to understand, because yes, I don't want to send the idea that light language is a tool for me to be like go and do things to your energy that you may not want, you wouldn't be aware of. This is not how it works. It's just like listening to a radio, right? The radio does not technically, when we listen to a song, tinker things in our vessel, right? But it's going to have an effect. And we can decide for ourselves if we want to turn the volume up or down again, or just turn the radio off entirely. That's also an option. So essentially, when we are receiving light language, it's essentially what we're receiving is a radio frequency that has an effect on our physical vessel. So what are those frequencies? Imagine, again, I'm a tuning fork, and there was a time where I spent a year in isolation in a mountain in Ecuador. I was one of the only few Caucasian person there. I was jacked up in the mountain, and I would only leave the property once a week to go do my groceries. And the rest of the time, I was completely immersed. It was a mixture of Andes mountain and very jungle-like energy. It was amazing. But during that time, there's a portal that opened, and I've worked with this portal for many, many weeks, if not months. And this portal was named Agartha. And it took me a while to connect with this portal, to understand its frequencies, and to also allow my physical body to attune to the frequencies of Agartha. And I'm going to tell you what it is in a nutshell because I feel it is going to help understanding a little more what light language is. So essentially, what happened in Agartha, if you think of planet Earth, we are in three-dimensional Earth, right? And there's a fourth dimension, fifth dimension, all dimension. But the smallest unit in space is actually two-dimensional. So if you really want to ground yourself, your physical being, in a way that's going to have an effect in the 3D world, I think of unlocking telekinesis. To unlock telekinetic abilities, you cannot be grounded in 3D Earth. That's not powerful enough. You want to be actually grounded in the two-dimensional Earth, which was Agartha. And when I understood and I fully allow myself to ground into Agartha, I was sick for 24 hours, power puking. Everything that I got, dry fever, it was horrible. It was all the extra density that I was not like used to. It was very, very intense, but I had to go through it. So, or I could have just took my time and stretched out for many more weeks in small increments, maybe. I don't know, but it was fast, it was powerful, and that was that. So by doing so, I have grounded this two-dimensional Earth and the techniques to ground into Earth of Agartha into my physical vessel. Doesn't mean that I'm special. Absolutely not. There is nothing that stops you to go isolate somewhere in the world and connect with the portal Agartha and have these experiences for yourself. But does everyone actually has the financial means and the time to go travel to a location for weeks on end to work with one portal? That's not very convenient, and it's not even really good for the Earth if you think of all of these people that would have to travel, take a plane, and go like different locations, right? So essentially, light language is a way of sharing with the public a frequency so you don't actually have to go spend weeks and months deep in the jungle somewhere because another human has already done so, and now because they are grounded in that frequency, they can emit it so you can receive it as a song, and your bodies and your higher self knows what to do and how to integrate this frequency and to support you on your journey. So this is as a whole the idea of light language is the ability to share some frequencies that for some of us has been weeks, months, even years to properly integrate in our vessel so we can transmit them to you so you don't have to spend weeks and months, and you're going to have your own experiences. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be like a magic pill. It's not that. It just allows you to connect with these energies without spending all that time and energy going to these places yourself, because why do that when you can do it from the comfort of your own home through a YouTube video like this? And that's a lot more convenient for a lot of people. And that's the thing too. It allows us to different humans, if you say, going in different locations to gather these frequencies, and then they come and they share it with the world. It's very convenient. Very, very convenient way of sharing frequencies. Another way too, if you think of muscle memory. So if I have spent years learning about my chakras, feeling into them, feeling when like how to relax them, to open them, and also realizing where my mind goes to when I feel them closing, right? What constrict my chakras and what opens them. So if I have a lot of a natural affinity and understanding of this chakra work, and somebody comes in my space with chakra issues, I can utilize light language again as a muscle memory. It's almost like our two energies connecting together, and there's a remembrance, like this is how you do it, and the feeling and the sensation of it, and I can guide you from that space. So again, it's all about the concept of being a tuning fork and emitting frequencies through broken words. And now I'm going to that aspect of it. So why is light language gibberish? And that may be a personal thing to different people who use light language in their space, but to me, the gibberish in itself helps me break down my thought patterns so I can further be more present to my heart feeling and sensing. And from there, I receive information through feeling and sensing that translate into images that I can again say back into normal human speech pattern. So in itself, the gibberish helps me breaks down from this very rigid logical space so I can be in a more fluid feeling sensing where I don't want to say logic goes out the window, but it allows me to allowing enough logic to take a back rest a little bit for me to have an experience who would be almost illogical in a way of connecting with energies in a more, which is very abstract, right? So it allows me to, again, break the thinking pattern to allow myself to have a more abstract experience through feeling and sensing. So this gibberish form of expression helps with that. And there's also sometimes you can hear like certain syllables or certain light language patterns that comes that they're from somewhere that we recognize. Sometimes there's some light language that I recognize and I can know the place it's coming from. But to me, it's not like light language is actually from one specific place. It's really just about which frequencies I want to transmit into my space. So another aspect of light language, what do I use light language for? For me personally, in my own practice, it can help release very sticky, dense energies. Or if you think like I'm caught up in a mental loop, I'm caught up in some kind of rumination, if I start thinking in light language with these energies, it breaks up the energies and it becomes a lot easier to actually release it and watch it leave my space. That's for my own personal practice. It can also help integrating new information. I'm feeling, sensing something, and then allowing to speak in tongues, if you say, allows me to really connect with this energy on a deeper level and extract information from it. I can use light language to communicate with a galaxy that's far away from here, or even a whale at the bottom of the oceans. I mean, your imagination is the limits as far as what light language can do. And if this is something you want to explore for yourself, I have a free course available right here on YouTube. And it's actually easy exercises to calm an overactive mind. I will put the link. It helps for those of you who are starting or new to meditation and are bombarded by thoughts when you're trying to be quiet. It helps soothe the excess mental load, but it also has the effect of awakening our energetic vessel, which leads to light language. So if that's something that's interesting to you, you can just click on the link below, and it's 45 minutes. Again, it's all of my services are donation based. You can find it for free here on YouTube. So another aspect of light language is how do I use it in my container when I receive someone for an energetic support and activation sessions, which I do offer. So people book sessions with me for a various reason. It could be they are not clear as to how they want to proceed to have certain results, or if they feel some kind of blockages, or they feel like there's an energy that's present in their space that's too loud, too quiet. Like, the reasons are many. But one thing is sure is after taking a list of their concern, listening to what they have to say, I will start speaking in tongues to connect with their energy, just to get a reading, a diagnosis. And essentially, it's then their energy showing me what it's doing, and I can translate everything back to these people, my clients. I can also help them with if there's a specific energy that they need. I mean, I connect with Stargate, which is Alakaria, and it's all about like advanced psychic development. So right there and then, like that's an area of tools that I can translate and extract information that helps people on their path. And this is pretty much how I use light language in my space to help people. So I'm not doing anything to their energetic field. I'm just emitting something or translating things back to them in a way that makes sense to them to help with integration too of multidimensional energies. So again, if a session is something you're interested with, all of my again services, they're all donation based, so they last about an hour, and you can squeeze a lot of things in there to help you with integration of dream time, what you see in the astral. If you feel there's some kind of disconnect energetically and you feel like you want some guidance, I can help with all of that. So I hope this clears up for you what light language is, which is just a song that we sing as a tuning fork to help other tuning fork resonate and calibrate themselves according to their own higher intelligence. We all have the capacity to do this. In fact, the more the merrier, because the more we can actually share. Who knows? Maybe you have a song within yourself that I would love to receive, that my soul would welcome as a gift. But I don't know if you don't try it for yourself, right? So again, thank you for watching. My name is Isabelle, and enjoy the rest of your day.